Do you think Wade Wilson deserves the death penalty? If you don't already know about this, I'm sure that you do because it is going viral at the minute because of the way that he has acted during the trial. I'll explain the case if you haven't already heard about it. So Wade Wilson is 30 years old at the time. He's originally from Fort Myers in Florida, but this case takes place in Cape Coral, which is about 20 minutes drive from Fort Myers. And Wade is in a live music bar on the 6th of October 2019, and it's where he spots Christine Melton. She is 35 years old. She's there having a good night with her friend Stephanie. They're having a really good time. Wade takes a liking to her and he goes over to her and Stephanie, and they spend a lot of the night together just having fun. He then goes back to Christine's house with her and Stephanie and then waits until Stephanie leaves. Stephanie goes home for the night and he stays with Christine. He's in her bed. They are obviously having a good time together. But the next morning, he strangles her to death. He also steals some of her stuff and he also steals her car. So now we're on the 7th of October and he's driving Christine's car around and he drives past Diane Ruiz, who is 43 years old and she's on her way to work. She works in a bar and she's on her way to a shift, but she's stopped by Wade, who asks her for directions. She gets into the car with him and he beats her, he strangles her, and then he runs over her body just to add further punishment because he is just a sadistic kind of guy. I feel like a lot of people are caught up in Wade and his appearance and the way that he's being, and not a lot of people know about the actual victims. I need to just talk about them for a minute because I feel like so many people forget about the victims in true crime cases. But Christine, as I mentioned, she was 35. She was just a lovely person through and through. She was a cat lover. She made everybody feel really loved, really welcomed, just understood. She was just a lovely, lovely person. And her cousin has gone on to say that she is just heartbroken by the fact that Christine is never going to get to be a mother and that that was a role that she was born to play. Diane's colleagues at the bar that she worked at said that she was absolutely the life and soul of the bar. She was like the heartbeat of it. She was full of energy. Everybody absolutely loved her. She had the loudest laugh and she would just light up a room. Like, her personality was so magnifying. Everybody absolutely loved her. She had two sons, a 29-year-old and a 19-year-old, and her youngest son testified in court to say that a couple of days after she was murdered, she was supposed to see him in his debut at a marching band, and obviously she was never able to make it. And he also speaks about the fact that she is never going to get to see him get married. These two crimes happened literally within hours of each other, and when you put into consideration the fact that he clearly decided before he even stepped foot in that bar that he was going to do something like that. He found somebody he took a shine into. He didn't act on impulse and do a crime straight away. He waited until he was on his own with her, until her friend had gone home, till it was just the two of them, to murder her. And then the next day, exactly the same thing. He waited until he found somebody on their own. He got them into the car, even though it was broad daylight. He had her on her own in the car, and that is where he did it. And his defence tried to argue that he had a diseased mind because he'd taken a lot of drugs in his life, but basically it was kind of argued that a lot of people do drugs and a lot of people have addictions and they don't all go out and commit horrific murders, so that argument was kind of thrown out. During the trial, prosecution said that basically he killed for the sake of killing. There was nothing more to it. He wanted to kill, and so he did. Throughout them telling the jury the specific details of what he did, he just sat there and looked smug and as though he was enjoying listening to what they were saying. No conscience about it, he didn't care. And that is what is a sickening thought. So the prosecution put to the jury that they thought he should face the death penalty, and that should be his punishment for the crime. 10 out of the 12 jurors agreed with this, and so now, because Florida only requires 8 jurors to agree to the death penalty, it is now up to the judge, who will make that decision in July sometime, as to whether he will actually face it. But that is what has been put forward, and obviously he knows that now. It was announced in court, so We will see what happens with that. But I just hate that because he's got the same name as the Deadpool character and he's got these face tattoos and obviously he looked all smug in court, all people see is his face. They don't see the victims and they don't see or hear anything about Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz, who are both loved people in their communities. Nobody ever talks about them. All you hear about is Wade and how he reacted and his face and all of that stuff. And I just wanted to give a little bit of mention to them because obviously they have family and friends who miss them horrifically, and the death penalty isn't going to bring them back, but it is going to bring a little bit of peace of mind just knowing that an animal like that isn't going to be able to do the same thing again. He thought he was a big enough man to do it to somebody else, so now ultimately that is how he is going to end up too. So yeah, what do you think about that one? I'm sure you've heard about it, but did you actually know the details of it? Because I didn't until I started looking into it.